Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of everything.
If you were to go through my Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok accounts and look through my exercise-related content, you will notice that I do talk about the hip thrust quite a bit. The exercise is most commonly associated with booty building, which, in my opinion, has been kind of a disservice to the exercise because it kind of leads people to disregard it without really knowing its true benefits. To be completely honest, I was amongst those people that would disregard it because, for reasons that are obvious, I'm not really trying to build up my booty. However, in the fall of 2018, I injured my back pretty bad. I'm talking about where it was really hard for me to tie my shoes and get out of bed. So this prompted me to do a lot of research into what types of exercises can help me recover from such an injury. And thanks to Dr. Aaron Horschig from Squat University, a popular YouTube account, it got me to start looking deeply into doing hip thrusts. Getting close to 5 years later, the hip thrust has literally become my absolute favorite exercise for the way that it helped me recover from my back pain. Welcome to the Workout Nerd Out. I'm Julio Lopez. I've got my master's degree in nutrition, as well as being a certified strength and conditioning specialist and a certified personal trainer with over 8 years of experience in personal training. The hip thrust, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated exercises out there, and not enough men and women are doing it. Thanks to well-known trainers like Brett Contreras and JC Santana, it has been gaining a lot of popularity in recent years, but there are still many people that haven't been doing it. The first benefit: strengthen core muscles. Probably the most common misconception about the core is that most people really only think about the abs. There are some other people that also think of the obliques, but you have to remember that the core is all 360 degrees of your midsection, and that actually does include the gluteal muscles. Office professionals and law enforcement officers spend several hours sitting down, whether at their desk in the office or in the squad car. When these professionals aren't working out consistently, muscle mass and muscle strength, particularly in the core, diminishes because they're simply not using those muscles, so there's really no reason for the body to maintain it. As this continues over the years, as a person enters their 30s and 40s, the back pain is going to start being a problem. And if even then, that's still not enough to get a person to become more physically active, the 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond can bring quite a bit of discomfort in that back. Just an FYI, when I say rectus abdominis, that basically just means the abs. While the hip thrust is most effective in training the glutes, your abs must work overtime to keep that torso stable by working extra hard to keep the core stiff and handle the weight on the barbell. In a 2018 study published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research, researchers found that traditional hip thrusts produce a much higher level of rectus abdominis activation compared to the single leg hip thrust variation, indicating that hip thrust can be a very effective way to strengthen the rectus abdominis, which is a key component of the core. Did it ever occur to you that the hip thrust also trains the obliques? The Journal of Applied Biomechanics published a study in 2019 that investigated a 6-week hip thrust training program on oblique muscle activation during a variety of exercises. Remember, the main function of the core, just like the obliques, isn't to grab attention at the beach, but rather to protect the spine from injury by emphasizing core stability. When you perform a hip thrust using a barbell, you could have hundreds of pounds on each side of the barbell. It's those obliques that have to work extra hard to prevent the barbell from tipping one side to the other. Can you guess what is at the foundation of most lower back injuries? A lot of the time, this has to do with a lack of core strength. For trunk stability, that allows uneven compression on the intervertebral discs. The researchers of a 2020 study that involved a 12-week workout program involving the hip thrust found significant improvements in trunk stability during exercises like squats and lunges, indicating that hip thrusts can help to improve core strength and stability, which may improve performance and reduce the risk of injury. It's likely that because the hip thrust targets the gluteal muscles, which stabilizes the pelvis and transfers the force between the lower body and the core. The second thing, improve posture. One of the most common causes of back pain has a lot to do with a person's posture. When people stand with poor posture over the decades, this can result with the spinal discs being pinched. Just an FYI, when I say anterior pelvic tilt, that means the tailbone is being pushed back. So kind of think of like an Instagram model when she's taking a booty pic. A study in 2017 in the Journal of Back and Musculoskeletal Rehabilitation investigated the effects of a hip thrust training program on pelvic tilt in individuals with chronic low back pain. And researchers determined that the hip thrust may reduce anterior pelvic tilt, thus correcting posture. Poor posture is a lot more than just something that's aesthetically displeasing. It can also limit your mobility. The Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research published a study in 2017 that investigated the effects of a 6-week hip thrust training program on thoracic spine extension and mobility in collegiate soccer players. Upon completion of the study, researchers found significant increases in thoracic spine extension range of motion, indicating that hip thrusts may increase thoracic spine mobility and contribute to better posture. Researchers compared the activation of postural muscles during hip thrusts and other gluteal exercises in a study that was published in 2018 in the Journal of Electromyography and Kinesiology. The findings indicated that hip thrusts produce higher levels of muscle activation in the erector spinae and multifidus muscles, which are important in maintaining good posture, thus suggesting that hip thrusts may help to improve postural muscle activation and contribute to better posture. The third thing, reduce spinal compression. Millions of Americans suffer from back pain. Unfortunately, many of these cases could have been avoided, or at least minimized by observing good posture and exercising on a consistent basis. Consequently, billions of dollars are spent every year on pharmaceutical drugs and over-the-counter pain relievers, just really to mask the pain instead of providing a permanent solution. The hip thrust just might be a solution to that back pain. Exercises like the back squat and the deadlift are amazing for developing leg strength. However, they do present a good amount of spinal compression, which can make it problematic for people with pre-existing back pain. The Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research published a study in 2015 that said hip thrusts produce lower levels of spinal loading than traditional exercises, thus suggesting that hip thrusts may be safer alternatives for people with low back pain or spinal conditions that make them susceptible to spinal loading. Nevertheless, don't take this like I'm saying don't do back squats or deadlifts. You can still do that, but if back pain is an issue, you're going to want to get that resolved before you really start doing heavy lifts with those exercises. The downward pressure in carrying the weight with a back squat and the sheer torque that occurs to the lower back when doing a deadlift are what make these two problematic for people with low back pain. But by adding a hip thrust to your workout program, this can strengthen the back muscles to handle the stress, so you won't have to abandon those exercises immediately. The research in a 2016 study published by the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research found that individuals with greater hip thrust strength exhibited lower levels of spinal loading during exercises like the squat or deadlift. This suggests that improving your strength in hip thrusts may reduce spinal compression when performing other exercises. Persons exhibiting anterior pelvic tilt may unknowingly be causing themselves the low back pain that's bothering them, just by the way that they're standing, giving themselves excessive lumbar flexion, since it's imposing uneven pressure to the disc in the lower back. Researchers in a 2018 study that focused on the effects of a 6-week hip thrust program found significant reductions in lumbar flexion during exercises like the squat and the deadlift, thus suggesting that the hip thrust may help to promote a more neutral spine position and therefore reduce spinal compression during those exercises. And that's probably because the hip thrust targets the glutes so well. Since the glutes play such a major role in stabilizing the pelvis, this is what may reduce excessive lumbar flexion. In conclusion, as you can tell, my opinion of the hip thrust is pretty high. Having gone from nothing more than a booty builder to one of the most foundational exercises that I perform, as well as one that I have my own clients performing. It's safe and easy to learn, and if you happen to be someone that has to live with back pain, you might want to check with your doctor if this exercise might be right for you, and if he or she believes that it could reduce your back pain. My suggestion when you're starting doing a hip thrust is to start with body weight only for the first month or two. Eventually, you'll be able to start using a barbell, and as you go along, you can start adding plates to each side of the barbell. So that does it for today's Workout Nerd Out. If you've got any questions, feel free to leave one in the comment section, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And also, if you feel some of your friends or coworkers or family members can benefit from some of this information, be sure to share it with them. Until next time, I'll see you on the next Workout Nerd Out.